Hi, and welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Tina Corby. Today, Pollster Scott Rasmussen joins us to talk about the one-year anniversary of Obamacare. So as you know, tomorrow does mark the anniversary of the passage of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. But yet we're still here talking about it. Is it unusual for legislation to still be such a hot topic a year after it's become law?
Well, it's certainly unusual, but what's really surprising about this is a year ago at this time, right after the law was passed, 54% wanted it repealed. A year later, 53% want it repealed. Nothing has changed. And if you went back to the year before the bill became law, just over 50% said they didn't want it passed.
And it seems like Obamacare is unusual in another way, too, in that most of the time the public is okay with a new entitlement program. They get used to it eventually. What do you think accounts for this continued opposition?
There's no one thing. Part of it is just the ongoing frustration. The last time government spending went down in America was 2 years before I was born. So it was a long time ago. People are getting fed up with it, so they're resistant to new spending. The large deficits we've seen in recent years were a concern. The moment when the health care law became unpopular, though, can be traced to the Congressional Budget Office study that said it would cost $1 trillion. Up to that point, a majority supported it. After that, a majority opposed it. The numbers haven't changed since then. And the reason that that was so significant is Americans overwhelmingly want that health care law to reduce the cost of care. Right now, they think the law will increase the cost of care and increase the federal budget deficit.
Okay, well, I feel like that does capture it pretty well. But for all that the public has followed the debate really closely, there are still some misconceptions, one of which is that it has already been repealed. What do you think accounts for that?
Well, again, first of all, most Americans have a life outside of politics and government, which is a really good thing. They have to take care of their family and their careers and all of the important things in life. But in the last news cycles, we've seen the House did vote to repeal the law. We've seen a couple of judges who have declared it unconstitutional. People are saying, oh, okay, something is happening. Whether they really believe that or not is up in the air. About 2 out of 3 Americans say they're not sure what the final outcome is going to be, and I think that's the rational approach right now. If President Obama is reelected in 2012, this law will not be repealed. If he is defeated, it will be.
Well, that was actually one of the questions, was just
I'm
sort
sorry.
I was just, what do you think is next? And you've just sort of said that you think it depends a little bit on the presidency. Do you have any more insight into what could shape the future of the debate?
Well, certainly the court cases are going to have an impact on it, and we don't know how they'll be decided or when they're decided. But if you leave the court rulings out of it, the election will be decisive. But even if it's not repealed, it's going to change. I mean, people are just saying something is wrong here. And the thing that's most telling about the polling data is that senior citizens, people 65 and older, are most opposed to it. They're the ones who use the healthcare system all the time.
Well, do you think that there's any danger of fatigue with this issue, that eventually voters will just sort of stop caring and acquiesce to it?
You know, it will not always be as hot as it is on the anniversary or when new provisions come in, but when people see the impact, yes. And what will happen, they will be interested when they see it affecting their life. And that could be in terms of expanded deficits, which is sort of a distant relationship, or it could be when they have to change their insurance coverage, or when the doctor says, I have to do this because of the new health care law. It won't even really matter if it's true. They will attribute anything bad that happens to this new law. We already know that when people have talked to healthcare professionals about it, they're less supportive of the law than before. So there is something going on that will keep this alive. And again, it's because it's an issue that touches people in their day-to-day life.
Well, thank you so much just for being here and for sharing your insights with us. We really appreciate it. This has been In the Green Room. For future episodes, subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Heritage Foundation, I'm Tina Corby.